Okay, so I normally don't do this at all ever. I kind of believe that opinions uh, are kind of stinky, smelly because they're like butts. Everybody's got one. I'm trying to keep it PG so I don't get demonetized on this video. But let's talk for a second. Um, Shout out to Derek D Man 1954, his channel, Godzilla News and Updates. I love this man. I've talked to him before. We've talked several times. Direct messages. We've been on After Darks together, all that kind of stuff. This is a response video to his most recent video, Godzilla vs. Kong, to release on HBO Max. Here it is right here, just so you can see it, because I've been staring at it. Like, like you can see. I was going to start, I actually was writing a comment in the comment section, but I decided that this needed its own little video to really kind of express what I'm really feeling, or how I think this video how this video impacted me. Let's put it this way, how this video impacted me today. So in the video, Derek goes on to say things like what, like, that they're considering doing a straight to HBO Max, straight to HBO Max and theaters. All these different ideas and stuff that they're trying out, because we saw terrible failures and flops with Mulan and Tenet and all these other things, right? So let's address a few things real quick. More specifically about Godzilla, I could care less about Star Wars, Marvel, whatever. The white slavers over at Disney completely destroyed my childhood, my American side of my childhood, and I feel like literally the only franchise I have left is Godzilla, and I actually respect Toho a lot for keeping such a stranglehold on the franchise and what they allowed to happen and not to happen. Okay, so one other thing before we really get into the rant. The reason why I'm wearing these goggles is I am predicting a massive landslide of crap after I say this video. So I'm keeping the goggles on so you guys understand that I know that I'm going to get a crap ton of really negative comments in the comment section. A lot of people aren't going to agree with me, and that's fine. But it's like, I'm keeping these on so that at any point while you're watching this little video, you understand that I know what's going to happen because of me making this video. Plain and simple. Done. All right, so let's move on. Now, I don't understand why people are so upset about Godzilla vs. Kong coming to straight to streaming. Who cares if the MonsterVerse continues? I'll be the first one to say it. The Heisei series in the 1990s Heisei series of Godzilla films have better continuity, better writing, better pacing. They're just better altogether as a whole than this MonsterVerse is. Period. Like, just period. Period. They killed off some of the only people that could have consistently stayed within the series and brought some consistency, because not even the designs of the monsters can stay consistent. Thank you, Michael Daughtry. I'm not saying that the design of 2019 is a bad one. As a matter of fact, let me get this out there. All of the things that I love about the MonsterVerse, because there are a few things. The first one is the monster designs. Obviously, the monster designs are phenomenal. Like, they look amazing. Everything from the little tree insect in Kong Skull Island all the way up to Mr. Ghidorah himself. All of the creatures, all of them. All the designs look fantastic, and I think that's great. I'm glad they brought us those designs. I'm glad we got to see those designs. The music, for the most part, in almost every single one of these movies, has been pretty good. Not gonna lie. As a composer myself, I can pick up on all the little nuances and the details and all the other stuff that they're doing within the song itself, from all the instruments that they're using. The only thing I didn't really like about the soundtracks from the MonsterVerse so far is the chanting and Godzilla King of the Monsters soundtrack. That's not cool. Dude, don't ever do that again. Please. Just don't. I know it's meant to be like very meaningful and all that. Just don't. I feel like you like that stuff kind of killed the movie. You were trying to do something cool and it just didn't work, and obviously just don't put the chanting in. Take the chanting out. Sorry. Most people going to disagree with me on that one too. Whatever. If you can disagree with me all you want, I don't care. My opinion still stands. The chanting needs to go. Now we're gonna get into the meat of the discussion. Okay, so let's talk about a few things. One, while I'm making this, I'm going to look this up just to kind of further prove my point. Hollywood financial problems. Okay. So there are a lot of different news outlets and stuff that have been reporting on this, and I encourage you guys, if you want to sit here and try to have even kind of any kind of an informed opinion, and I'm not just talking to you, Derek. I'm not saying you don't have an informed opinion. I'm talking to anybody who's watching this video, any Godzilla fan, or anybody who's a fan of the film industry in general, right? You need to make sure you have an informed opinion, because if you don't, you're just stupid, and you'll fall away with the rest of the dead skin when all this is said and done. So make sure you're well informed. Hollywood has been bracing for a financial hit ever since the C virus came out, right? And they're moving into 2021 with the current state of our political climate and our economic climate. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, everybody, there is so much, first off, there is so much more important things going on in the world besides movies that it blows my mind that people are still worried about that stuff. It'll work itself out. The industry is going to be changed forever, and you can ask anybody who's from an independent filmmaker all the way up to a top-notch Hollywood paid director, producer, film executive, whatever. The Hollywood's been changed forever, and we now know this, right? Unless the powers that be stop the crap that's going on with the sickness that has enveloped the world, we're never going to have theaters again. We're never going to be able to go and hang out with our friends and watch a movie that we've been waiting for and anticipating. And I think that maybe says something a little bit about us as people, especially as Americans, right? But I digress. Let's get back into the Monsterverse. So Hollywood has been taking a huge hit. They haven't been able to release their movies for fear that they're not going to do well. And as a matter of fact, you can look this up yourself. If you don't want to look it up, it's totally fine. I've already looked up this information, so I know it's true, and I'm not going to look it up again right now, because I'm trying to get what I have to say off my chest, and then I'm going to edit this video, and yay. So you guys, okay, first let's look at legendary Warner Brothers, HBO Max, and Godzilla vs. Kong going straight to streaming. I don't think there is a problem with this. I have been advocating for Godzilla vs. Kong to go to streaming for over a year, since before we were all told to stay in our homes. Okay? I was like, why don't they just do that? Because of the numbers from the box office that King of the Monsters produced. I know people don't want to say it flopped, and technically, I guess it didn't. But it sure wasn't successful, right? money-wise. Let's be clear. There's no getting around that. We all know that Godzilla vs. Kong did not do well, and it doesn't matter why. Mostly, and if you really want to know why, it was because it was a mediocre movie. It was a mediocre movie. Let me help you understand what the definition of mediocre, right? As a noun, it is the quality or state of being mediocre, or a person of mediocre ability. This has got a couple of whatever, because you know Oxford. The noun mediocrity, if you keep scrolling down, means the quality of being average or ordinary. Can't be great at everything. In some areas, we fall into mediocrity, and that's fine. Like, nobody's going to be Superman and be able to do all these different things. Such of persons in this middle level of success can also be called mediocre. If at any point in time you can't attest to a thing or a person being either great, poor, or average, that is when they become mediocre. Because you can't even say average. Mediocre is when, like, being average is like saying you just imagine you creating this here wallet, and it opens up like a standard wallet. It opens up like a standard wallet, right? This wallet is a mediocre wallet. There's nothing special about this wallet. It's almost just like all the wallets I've ever had before, right? This is a mediocre wallet. And if you make a wallet, you decide that you want to make a wallet and compete with other mediocre wallets, well, let me explain something to you about business, and this is how business works. The idea of business is to maximize your profits without losing money or doing much else of anything else, whether it's production, labor, or anything else. Like, the idea is to get as much money as you can from people or from your consumers or your patrons or whatever. The idea is to get as much money as you can for as little work as you possibly have to do, right? This is how business works. This is how business is. This is how it's always been. So we, as hardworking individuals that go out and work these jobs that these high-paid actors, directors, producers, and movie personnel, we go out and we work jobs that they don't want to do, that they can't do for some unknown reason, or that they would never try to do. And I'm not saying they don't deserve to be actors or actresses, but I don't believe that they deserve to be making millions of dollars. But that's a whole nother movie, or that's a whole nother topic on movies in general that I could go into. I mean, I could literally shit on Hollywood for days, but we are specifically talking about Godzilla vs. Kong and going straight to streaming. I've been advocating this for over a year, and I'm pretty sure my prediction still stands. The longer you wait to release Godzilla vs. Kong, the less money it's going to make in all areas. In all areas. Because I understand, and most people understand, that Godzilla King of the Monsters didn't do well financially in the box office, but in the fandom, especially amongst newer/younger fans, the movie was renowned success, and hell, it even brought people into the fandom, which I am eternally grateful for. Okay, so bringing fans into the fandom, having good monster designs, and the music is all the only good things that I will praise the Monsterverse for. Everything else fucking sucks. Everything else about those movies suck. And, we need, as an audience, to quit accepting mediocre crap, to really understand where things come from and the history of where things come from. And if you don't like that, then go create something else on your own, right? Don't change something that doesn't need to be changed, because it wasn't ever meant to be changed. Godzilla has always and forever will be a historical memorandum to the horrific events that took place long before I was born. We, as a country, nuked 2 civilian cities. And to this day, not a single person thinks about that. Not a single person thinks about what we could do as a nation to be better, to atone for the things that we've done. Not saying that we have to atone for what we did in Japan, but I'm sorry, that was murder. I don't care if it was retaliation, if we were at war, if they attacked us first. They didn't attack civilian centers, we did. And we didn't just attack them, we nuked them. Big difference. Japan is the only country in the world to have ever had a nuclear bomb dropped on them by foreign opposition, right? The first and only country to this day. There hasn't been another nuke that we know of that has been dropped on another country, right? And Godzilla will always be that metaphor. That's why Shin Godzilla was so freaking popular when it came out. Why? Because it was addressing issues that Japan had with its government, with its environmental policies, with its foreign policies, with all of its policies, with its basically, it was a big satire on the current state of Japan. And if you watch Shin Godzilla and you don't understand this, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to like help your brain grow, you know? So, I really think people in the fandom, if you're going to call yourself a Godzilla fan, you really need to understand why Godzilla is Godzilla, where he came from, what he represents, and everything that every other thing that Toho's ever done after that, right? Not everybody is in the same mindset as the fans who are afraid of this going to streaming and not making enough money to produce more MonsterVerse. Personally, I don't care if the MonsterVerse, it's not my job, right? I'm not the one getting paid millions of dollars to make sure a good movie was made to continue a franchise, right? We have those people. His name is David Callahan and Max Borenstein. These are the people, the screenplay and the people that wrote the story for the original Godzilla movie that came out in 2014. I mean, we could talk about the same. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the same people. You know what? Just in case, let me check and make sure that this is the same people that wrote. Because I'm pretty sure that it is. But that wrote King of the Monsters. Yeah? So let's look at that. I just want to look that up real quick. Just to make sure that I can prove to you again that these people writing these movies are craptacular. They need to be fired. And they need to, they just needs to die. Okay, so let's see. Screenplay by Michael Dougherty and Zach Shields. Michael Dougherty is only the co-writer. Story by Max Borenstein. There he is again. Michael Daughtry and Zach Shields. Yeah. So this person, Max Borenstein. Who the fuck is this guy? Yeah. This guy has been continuously trying to make an MCU spin-off franchise or whatever, and he was trying to do it with the MonsterVerse. I'm pretty sure he was pressured into it. Bro, you should have had some fucking integrity and told them to piss off, let you write your own thing. And if that's not the case and it's vice versa, a shame on you. Shame on you, Max Borenstein. Shame on you. Outside of that, crappy writing, crappy pacing, crappy plot, crappy character development, and the most fantastically, wonderfully bad editing I've ever seen in any movie. Like, how are you going to cut from the monster scenes in a monster fight to show 3 to 5 seconds of humans going, oh my God, I'm getting jerked around in a plane or a car or a ship or something. And then we're going to cut back to like 2 seconds, maybe if we're lucky, of monster action going on. Like, stop giving them these passes, people. I got 2 complaints. I got one on Hollywood Legendary, Warner Brothers, and HBO, and then I got one on you, the audience, because I'm one of you, and I get lumped into your category considering I'm not the one making these movies. And so I would just like to note that not everybody in the audience is simply minded and okay with mediocrity. Not this guy. Nope, not this guy. The movie needs to be released to streaming because if it doesn't, the hype is going to be completely gone by the time it comes out. Nobody's going to really care, and most people right now don't care. This movie has been delayed 3 times. It was supposed to come out in 2019, which means if Legendary would have actually had their crap together and knew that they had a solid product and foundation, this movie would have already been made and had come out in November of 2019 like it was supposed to. Instead, it got delayed and delayed and delayed again. Now it's not coming out until 2021. What the hell? So, like, I'm all for something getting delayed for reshoots and for making something, like, making the best product that you can. But we got Godzilla in 2014. They had from then till now, or until at least 2019, to work on these movies, make them. But they didn't. They sat on the IPs and the franchises for 5 years until, we got the Kong spinoff movie, the Skull Island movie. And then we got Godzilla vs. Kong, which they sat on for 5 years. And listen, to counter your argument, Derek, about waiting and feeling okay about waiting, like, what? That argument makes no absolute sense to me whatsoever. Like, I'm not waiting. It's not like I'm sitting here waiting for Legendary or HBO or Warner Brothers or Disney or any other production company to make a movie that I did not ask for, right? I'm not waiting for it. You didn't call up Warner Brothers. I didn't call up Warner Brothers. Nobody called up Warner Brothers and said, "Hey, will you please buy the rights to these characters and make these movies?" What are you waiting for? Move on with your life. Let the MonsterVerse die. Like, if you are literally just waiting for these movies, which I know you're not, because I know you're in school, I know you got a whole bunch of other things going on, but if you're, like, don't frame it that way. We're not waiting. This is what they're making, and we're just living our lives, and when it comes out, we may or may not go see it. That's how this works. It's not, we're waiting for Godzilla. I'm not waiting for Godzilla vs. Kong, and to be honest, at this point, knowing what I know about the company who owns that company, and about the whole situation with the world, I don't even want to go see it. I don't want to give it money. I don't want to support mediocrity. I don't want to support the attention going to a Chinese audience. Like, that's what they're banking on, people. You don't understand. This is an American company banking on the Chinese audience for success for their movie to make the most of their money. Why? Well, there's a couple reasons for this. One, let's just call them out. They're greedy. Most corporations, movie, food, doesn't matter. Clothes, doesn't matter. They're greedy. And there's 1.3 billion people on the other side of this massive pond, right? So they want that money. And they're literally making all of our movies, at least for the last 5 years, if not greater. They have been making all of our movies to cater to that audience and not to us. And we have slowly been brainwashed into accepting this mediocre crap and the artistry of people trying to appeal to a whole nother nation instead of us. Like, what happened? What happened? What happened? 2, here's another reason why. The Wanda Group, which owns Legendary, right? Oddly enough, owns every single AMC movie theater, right? Go look it up if you don't believe me. So, if they own every single movie theater and they're like, and we've got, first off, we got all the theaters being closed up for the sickness, right? And then we have a Chinese conglomerate that literally owns all of the AMCs in America. Like, what does that tell you, right? They are catering to China to help boost them, to make money off of them, and they've been in direct control this whole time. They've been in direct control this whole time. If Godzilla versus Kong doesn't come out, the companies that like Legendary, Wanda Group, all these people, all these companies that own these other companies, they're not gonna be hurting. So I don't understand what the big deal is. The world is hurting right now, and you can't find it in yourself to bring us some sort of joy and fulfillment without it being attached to money. You want to delay this movie instead of releasing it on streaming or whatever. I mean, I get it. I would love, if I'm going to see this movie, I would love to see it in theaters. You know, I would love to see Godzilla movies. I've seen all of them I've seen all the ones that have come out in America so far that I could, except for Shin Godzilla because it was released in very select theaters, so I didn't get to see that one. But I've seen all the Godzilla movies that have been released in America on movie theaters and movies in the movie theaters. Because, you know, that's what I do. That's I'll support what I like, especially if it's good. But I won't support what I don't think is good. So I get it. You want to see these movies in theaters. But the world has changed. Duh. Look it up. Look at what's going on with politics. Look at what's going on with our economy. You have to know these things if you really want to sit here and not be disappointed by the outcome that's going. I'm almost willing to bet that it's going to happen 100%. They're sitting here talking about it, and I know you're trying to hold out hope about, well, we got to wait and see what happens with Wonder Woman, and we got to see what happens with this, that, and the other. Man, I'm telling you, they're just, Hollywood is screwed, and it would behoove them. They would make a lot more money in merchandising sales and probably in DVD sales, because that's something else that I don't know why most people aren't even talking about this. Godzilla King of the Monsters did so much better in the home release department with the merch, with the DVD releases, with all of that stuff. They did so much better than they did in the theaters. So why? Why do they need to release it in the theaters? Just release it straight to DVD or release it straight to streaming. They're going to go out and buy the Godzilla toys, because they're always going to go out and buy the Godzilla toys. We're going to buy the Godzilla shirts. We're going to do all this kind of stuff, right? Like, the merch is still going to come, and that's where you're going to make your money. But they don't understand that. Or if they do, they're being extremely greedy. They're trying to test us to see what we will and won't accept or whatever. And at this point, I don't care. I don't care about Godzilla vs. Kong. I really don't. I don't care about the Monsterverse. I love Godzilla. I love giant monsters. I love dinosaurs. I love the things that I love. And if somebody is going to be putting out a product that has to do with something that I love, and they know that I love it, then it's on them to produce quality. It's on them to produce a product that I will buy. I'm not sitting around and waiting for them to make something that I want. Like, I didn't ask them to make something I wanted. I didn't ask them to make a toy. I didn't ask them to make these movies. I didn't. Nobody even, as far as I know, we didn't see Godzilla 2014 coming, or at least I didn't. I didn't see it until it was like a few months out. So I didn't even know that the movie was coming out. I didn't even see Kong Skull Island until it was already out, and like I could go to Redbox and get the DVD. Like, that's how I found out about it. It wasn't through the trailers. It wasn't through any of that stuff. I was literally walking past a Redbox, and I looked and I saw this thing that said Kong Skull Island. I was like, huh, what's that? And so I came home and I watched it. And at the end, it showed the whole thing with Godzilla versus Kong. And I was like, oh, and it showed Ghidorah and not Godzilla versus Kong, but it showed Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan and all that stuff. And I was like, oh. And that's when I really started paying attention to the MonsterVerse, because I was like, oh, they're bringing two of my favorite monsters, Rodan and Ghidorah, into American film. Like, what? I wanted to see how they did this. Flopped. They dropped the ball so hard. So I want you. So real quick, I want to go back to Derek. If you're still watching this long rant, I've been recording for like 30 minutes now. I'm probably going to edit this down. Um, but Derek, if you're watching, this is not an attack on you, and I want you to keep doing what you're doing because I literally watch your channel for all the news and updates and all that kind of stuff pertaining to Godzilla now. I kind of don't really watch anybody else because, and I'll be honest with you, I really kind of skip. I love the chapter times that you put in the video because I skip around and stuff. So thank you for that. But this is an attack on you. This is a rant on the movies, on the fan base, on people in general. You need to quit accepting mediocrity. You need to break yourself out of the brainwashing that they have given to you since you were children, like watching on your little iPads that your parents gave you because they were too busy cooking dinner, so they gave you an iPad so you could watch something. You've been brainwashed since you were a kid to accept mediocrity. You have no clue what actual good quality is. And please grow up. Get educated a little bit. Look up stuff on your own. People are so lazy that they don't look up anything. That they don't try to understand how the world works. They're just like, let me stay in my little bubble. Let me play Fortnite and watch my Godzilla videos, right? Let me play Among Us and not pay attention to what's really going on, right? Because Among Us is what we need right now. Mediocrity. 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 You guys got to stop this. You guys got to stop. Got to stop. The Monsterverse needs to get released sooner rather than later. I don't care if it comes out in theaters or not. It needs to get released sooner than later because if it doesn't, there will be no hype for it, as there is no hype right now for it. Because the majority of general audiences don't give a crap about Godzilla right now. They're worried about putting food on their tables. They're worried about having a job to go to, or if they can even find one right now. Right? They're worried about riots. They're worried about all this other stuff. Let's get real for a second. It's time that the fandom comes to grip with reality. The movie's not going to do well in the box office, and we know this. The only way this movie or the franchise will make any kind of money is once it hits the home release, or once it hits home release, and it makes all its money off of the merch sales and all that kind of stuff. Theaters, it's a lost cause. It's a lost cause. Accept it. Just accept it, right? No matter what you do, you can't bring you can't bring Hollywood back. Not the way it used to be. And why would you? Why would you want to bring Hollywood back the way it was? With all the virtue signaling and SJW nonsense going on constantly. You really want that? Right? You really want more Brie Larsons? You really want more just idiots out there like trying to use a platform to do good or to make a change in the world? Man, get the fuck off stage. We didn't ask you to do that. You're getting paid to be an actress and to entertain us because we're the ones working our butts off. We're the normal people that are the electricians that are keeping your power on, that are the water treatment plant personnel that are keeping your clean water flowing through your rich mansion in Hollywood. Right? We're the guys that work at McDonald's making the burgers that you eat because you're too busy to cook for yourself. We're the guys that stock your grocery store so that your butler or your maid or whoever it is that runs your house because you're too busy to clean it yourself or whatever can go and buy the food that you're going to put in your gullet, right? We are the people that you are supposed to be serving and entertaining. And it blows my mind how you make that much money. And everyday people who struggle in construction with back problems and leg problems and stuff, like they break their bodies so that you can virtue signal and so that you can be an SJW and tote for civil whatever. Like, get over yourself, Hollywood. I'm glad that your plane has finally run out of fuel and it is starting to crash and burn. And if you don't believe me, just look at the financials of it. There is hope for all you movie phobes, movie fanatics, movie fans, whatever, most of those people, especially in California, have decided to come to my state. And there's a lot of land in my state. So I fully expect for a neo Hollywood to happen here in the great state of Texas. There's a bunch of other movie production companies or production companies, I should say, starting to open up, offering more variety and options, actual options, not just crap. So we have that to look forward to. We have a brand new film industry to look forward to when all of this finally gets cured and we can go about some sort of... So we can get some sort of semblance of life that we had before this year, right? 2020 has been the worst year. The worst year. A lot of people on edge. A lot of people don't trust. A lot of people are just... They're like, dang, what are we going to do? So that's my rant on Godzilla vs. Kong. This is my response video to Derek. I mean, if you have anything to reply back or have anything to say, your opinion, if there's anything you would like to rebuttal, I'd like to have an open dialogue, and we can leave comment sections open for people who are watching this to give their comments and stuff. We can go back and read, and whether or not you want to make a response video to this one, Derek, that's totally up to you. But this is my response video to that because I can't, and I'm not saying it's just you. There are other content creators in the game that are saying kind of the same thing that you are. And it's okay if the MonsterVerse fails, bro. It's okay if the MonsterVerse fails. We don't need to keep it. If you like it, great. But it's not good. The MonsterVerse franchise has not been good, in my opinion, since its inception. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.